Edie Lush here in OpenAI's headquarters in Davos 2026 for the day. Really pleased to be here at the moment with George Osborne. He is, of course, the former UK Chancellor, now taking a position at OpenAI as head of OpenAI for countries. How are you, George?
I'm great, thanks. I'm enjoying Davos and very excited to be at this event.
I know. So you have now taken on a new role, head of OpenAI for countries. You were the former UK Chancellor. Tell me why you wanted to join OpenAI, first of all, and in particular to lead this part of the organization.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I couldn't think of a more exciting company to be part of at a more exciting time and as part of a more exciting technological revolution. So I did the unusual thing of knocking on the front door.
Did you?
And they let me in.
Right.
But I also thought, you know, what can I add? What can I bring? You know, I'm not a technologist or an AI researcher, but I thought I could help this company think about its relations around the world, engage with countries, and then help those countries use AI to solve a lot of the problems I used to face when I was in government.
So talk a little bit about the philosophy behind OpenAI for countries. What's it going to do?
Well, of course, you know, around the world there are people using our products, there are businesses using our products, and there'll be parts of governments using our products already. But we can also talk to countries you know, as single entities and say, well, maybe we can come in and help you understand how you can make more use of this technology in your education system, your healthcare system, create a startup culture in this country. I think, you know, so many countries have that question, which is, I don't want to miss out. And I know this is really important to my country's future and my citizens' future. And so we can partner with them, and we've already got agreements with 9, you know, very significant countries around the world. We're in touch with 50 more. And we're addressing this, you know, capability overhang, which is actually a big theme today.
Talk about that. Talk about what capability overhang is.
Well, you know, there's incredibly powerful technology being developed here in this company. And, you know, to be honest, not all of it is being used by all the people all the time. And that's true of countries too. So if you take an individual, you know, there are individuals who are making 7 times more use of our products than the regular user, and as a result, much more productive. And the same is true of countries. There are countries where the average user of our products is using 3 times more of the thinking capabilities. And they're not, by the way, necessarily the kind of obvious suspects. You know, we have the highest number of users in countries like the United States. We have, you know, very high sort of population penetration in countries like the Netherlands. But in terms of kind of use of the product, it's countries like Vietnam, it's countries like Pakistan, it's countries like Morocco. And that's very exciting because it's also a way for them to turbocharge their development into the kind of highest income categories of nations of the world.
So talk a little bit, as a former chancellor, talk about how, you know, productivity and economic growth were kind of measuring sticks as which you were measured, the country is measured. Talk a little bit about how that could also help countries as well. How can you use OpenAI, use artificial intelligence to increase productivity and economic growth?
Yeah, well, that you know, that word productivity is the thing that every finance minister in the world and every government in the world wants to see grow in their country, because that is the key to rising living standards in a sustainable way. And it also helps resolve these, you know, intractable problems of how you pay for public services whilst, you know, keeping taxes at a rate that don't crush enterprise. And you know, we have here a tool, a technology in AI that, you know, is going to turbocharge productivity. It's a solution to many of these problems at a time when the world's crying out for solutions. And so I think a lot of countries are reaching for it with both hands, saying, you know, I don't want FOMO. I want to be part of this technological revolution. I want to understand it. I want it, you know, adopted in my country. And we can help partner with countries doing that. And, you know, I'll just give you 2 examples of things we've talked about in the last 2 days here in Davos. You know, first, we're partnering with the Gates Foundation to bring AI, you know, ChatGPT Health and the AI products for healthcare to some of the poorest parts of Africa where there isn't regular access to medical care. And at the same time, we're partnering with countries like Greece and Kazakhstan and Trinidad and Estonia on their education systems. And we've announced a partnership there. So there's so many different aspects of life that this technology touches. And therefore, there are so many different aspects of what government does that this technology touches.
I was surprised to read that Pakistan is such a big user. What surprised you?
No, I think when you pick up the report that we've published today, I think you would have sort of assumed that the kind of highest income advanced countries of the West, the US, North America more broadly, Western Europe, would be not only the kind of have the most users, but also the most intensive users. And I thought it was actually rather refreshing that countries that are doing everything they can to speed their development, like Pakistan, like Morocco, like Vietnam, the users in those countries are the most intense users, making the most use of the thinking capabilities. And I think that's, for someone who's spent a lifetime thinking about how you address global inequality and how you bring people up and share in some of the benefits that the most well-off share, I think that's enormously encouraging, and that's one of the kind of exciting transformative features of this technology.
Just one more example, just on the healthcare front. You and I come from the UK. Obviously, the NHS gets a lot of flack, but there's such an opportunity to help doctors. There's a story in the report about a doctor, increasing their own ability to help patients just by sending some of the other stuff to AI. What else could it do?
Yeah, no, we have a great example in the report of a Dutch doctor who's been using ChatGPT to basically take away a lot of the kind of bureaucratic administrative paperwork that goes with healthcare, so that doctor, she can spend more time with her patients actually addressing their health needs. And so it's not about replacing the doctor or the nurse or the healthcare worker, it's about partnering with them to actually do a lot of the things that they particularly enjoy doing, and they can focus on their vocation, what they're trained for, and the patient care. And then there will be parts of the parts of the world, where there just isn't regular access to a doctor, or the doctor is a long way away, sparsely populated places or some of the poorest places. And again, the technology can help with healthcare advice in a properly controlled way, and that's what ChatGPT Health, which we launched last week, is all about.
Fantastic. George Osborne, thanks so much for your time.
It's great to be here.
All right.